It's my pleasure today to announce the formation of the West Texas Water Partnership. It's a regional approach by the cities of Abilene and San Angelo to address our long-term water needs in our communities. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce in our audience Mayor Norm Archibald from Abilene and Mayor Dwayne Morrison from San Angelo. So thank you for being here, gentlemen. This partnership will explore opportunities to talk about maximizing local opportunities to continue to support conservation and develop new long-term water supplies for our region. We are fortunate in West Texas that we have thriving oil and gas economy, that our economies are booming, and that we can contribute this to a bigger population explosion. But that means that we're going to have ever increasing water demands, which is just what we are preparing with this partnership. For the benefit of our communities and the region as a whole, our regional economy must not be limited by lack of water. As we all know, water is what drives our communities. This is why the leadership of our three cities are working together to solve the region's long-term water shortage. San Angelo, Midland, and Abilene, West Texas, our region, we're used to these dry climates. We're in the desert, and we talk a lot about being out here in the desert. And so being in the desert, we understand what water conservation means. We understand how precious our blue gold is, our water, and we'll continue to talk about that in our water partnership. We are committed to a common sense approach of conserving water and using it efficiently. Some of you may be asking, isn't the state providing our future water needs through the state water plan? And the answer to that question is the state of Texas places that water issue and conservation on the local level. And we're very used to that being out here in West Texas. We are very dependent, we're very self-sufficient, and so we will address our local water issue just as we have with our short-term water plans. Decisions made at the local level are guided by the standardized water plan under the Texas Water Plan, which was passed by the legislature in 2012. If there is no local water planning done, projections show that by 2060, the water deficit in our region will be massive. The importance of this partnership is to Midland and cannot be overstated. It is vital to our city and to our region. This allows for cost sharing, it allows for the increase of water use and efficiency, and it minimizes environmental impacts. Very, very critical issues. Here in Midland, as well as in Abilene and San Angelo, we are very mindful of our future water needs. Now, as I stated, it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Dwayne Morrison from San Angelo to talk a little more about our long-term water needs and our water partnership. Mayor?
Well, I am Dwayne Morrison, and I am the mayor of the city of San Angelo, and I'm honored to be here this morning and to be able to represent San Angelo, Texas, in this collaborative effort that we have formed, this partnership, in which the three main cities in West Texas have joined together to find water for our area. With this partnership, we are pooling our resources, and we are able to do as a group what none of us as a single individual city would have been able to do on our own because the cost is so very prohibitive. But our hope is to find a good, dependable water supply that we can bring to our city to protect us for generations, to take care of our children and our grandchildren in the future. And because we cannot do it by ourselves, this partnership is a wonderful thing, and I am honored to be with Abilene and with Midland in this. We have always shared in West Texas our resources, but because of the drought and the severity and the duration of the drought that we've endured in the last decade, it is important, it is mandatory that we find long-range water supplies to protect our cities and to provide for industry and the residents of our area. By working together, we will be able to do this. And this is something that we're doing for our citizens, for our businesses, but it's also something that we're doing for our children and for our grandchildren and protect the vitality of West Texas. Thank you. Mayor Archibald, I believe you are next.
I'm next. Well, it is my honor to be here today to join in what we are now calling the West Texas Water Partnership. And I was at that very first meeting in December of 2010. We met in San Angelo. And the question that was on the table is there something that the three cities could do, Abilene, San Angelo, and Midland, that we could work together to provide water and bring water resources to West Texas? And while we're really far apart, one of the questions I've always asked is, how far is too far to bring water to your community? And the answer is, there's no place that's too far to go. I had someone call me yesterday and ask if it was impossible to bring water from the Mississippi River to Abilene. And I said, well, we'll talk about that. But you see how people are thinking outside of the box about how we could work together. One of the things that I did notice back a year ago when Senator Troy Frazier, who is the chairman of the Senate Natural Resources Committee, invited me to speak at their joint meeting with the House Natural Resources. And I told him at that time that we were in the process of working with the cities of Midland and San Angelo together. And I'll never forget, after that meeting was over, the number of senators and state representatives that came up to me afterwards and said, how is it that y'all are doing that? Because that could never happen where we are in our part of the state of Texas. And they said, you guys are a model for working together to see what those solutions could be. You know, all of us have been working on our short-term water supplies. Midland and San Angelo have been working on theirs. We have a reuse project that we're using right now. We're already spending a lot of money on our short-term, what's going to take place in the next few years. Because we've got to have water today. But there are long-range plans. All the job creation in the world won't do any good if we don't have water for our citizens, and water for our industries, and water for job creation. People are looking at us to make sure that we're going to have adequate water today. And so that's what our plan has been, to consider what we could do together. And one of the benefactors of all of that is all of the small rural places in between us who will be connected by pipelines perhaps someday, and they benefit from it too. We are totally dependent in Abilene on surface water. We get our water from 3 different sources. And groundwater is one of the big ideas that moves us all forward because of the need to have more than one source that's either surface or groundwater opportunities. So we continue to move forward. And we won't stop until we explore any and all opportunities that we could do these things together, because we're stronger together than we are by ourselves. And so one of the best things to ever happen to me, as Mayor Morrison said about the future, was that I have 2 grandsons, soon to be ages 7 years old and 4 years old, that live in Abilene. And I keep thinking every time I'm with them, you know, will there be water when they're 20 years old? Will there be water when they're 30 or 50, long after the time I'm gone? I've always thought that one of the best things we could ever do is to plan for the future, because, see, some of the lakes that we use right now were built about 60 years ago. If it wasn't for their foresight 60 years ago, where would we be today? So the West Texas Water Partnership was created to bring about opportunities to work together like 3 cities perhaps have never worked together before in the whole state of Texas. We're honored to be a part of it. I commend my fellow mayors. I commend the people of Midland for what they've done for their water with the T-bar. I think I know about as much about T-bar as the people from Midland do, because I've been keeping up with it, what y'all have done. And when you brought that online, that was a great accomplishment. You're working on future projects. The Hickory Aquifer in San Angelo is a part of that. We have a plan to build a reservoir, Cedar Ridge in Abilene. We have our permits in front of the TCEQ today. But we're working diligently. And the theme that I use in our city whenever I talk to any group of people is to make the statement, water, try living without it. And if you can't get past that, then you're not understanding that water will be one of the most precious, possessed natural resources ever in our state. I think it's great that the citizens of Texas, by over 73%, voted to form Proposition 6, which would give funding someday for some of these projects. And that's where we are delighted to know that the people of Texas understand how important water will be in our future. The revitalization of the Texas Water Development Board is another step forward as we all work together. Because as many people are coming to Texas every day, they've got to have water. And this is what we're all about today. I love West Texas. This month of January marks 40 years ago that I moved to Abilene. I kind of like it here. I'm going to stay. And so for us, this is our future. This is where we call home. Where you call home, you want to provide for the future. This water partnership is a great step forward. And I've been delighted to be a part of it from the very first day we met. And we're going to keep going. We don't always know what the future will hold, but we're exploring that together. And for that, we're very grateful. Well, the hospitality's been great. I commend the citizens of Midland for electing Jerry Morales, their mayor, just recently. I want you to know I think a lot of Courtney Sharp, your city manager, because he's been a great person to work with as well. And I want to thank my friend Bob Edwards, who was my longtime college friend who lives here, and he came out just to get to visit with me this morning. So Jerry, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and we'll be able to answer any questions later.
Thank you, Mayor. Archibald put it right on the mark when he says that, you know, Midland, San Angelo, Abilene, this is our home. And we're not only thinking about today, but we're thinking about our family, our future generations. We want everything to be safe, and we can only do that with proper planning, and that's what we're doing. We're planting that seed today. But I think as we go forward as communities, we do things on a regional approach. We take these challenges on a regional approach, and we know with our resources, we can attack them aggressively and work on them with smart minds. We do have smart staffs, and I appreciate you complimenting our staff. We're very, very appreciative of all the work they're doing. Again, thank you to our mayors from our sister cities for being here. We really appreciate you joining us today in Midland. Appreciate all of you in the audience for joining us. We were working very hard and diligently for our citizens, and we'll continue to do so through this water partnership, and look forward to answering your questions. Thank you for being here.